So, you're thinking about getting a dog. That is such an exciting moment, right? You can almost picture it now. The walks, the cuddles, just all the incredible joy a dog brings into your life. But then the big question hits you. Which one? Okay, so let's just dive right in. The world of dogs is, it's just mind-bogglingly diverse. You've got everything from these huge, majestic giants all the way down to tiny little pocket rockets. You've got dogs with sleek, short coats, and then you've got others that literally look like walking mops.
And we're not talking a handful of choices here. There are over 400, that's right, 400 different breeds out there. And every single one was created for a very specific reason, a certain look, a particular personality, or a job they needed to do. So yeah, with that many options, it's totally understandable if it feels a little overwhelming.
And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Where do you even start? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out together. We're going to break this whole thing down for you, and we'll start right at the beginning. So, to really get why there's this insane amount of variety, we've got to go back in time. We need to look at where all dogs actually come from. And believe me, it's a journey that started a long time ago out in the wild. Now, this might blow your mind a little, but genetically, every single dog breed, I don't care what it looks like, is almost identical to the gray wolf. Yeah, that means your fluffy poodle, that huge St. Bernard, deep down, they're basically wolves. It's this incredible genetic flexibility that was the key, the thing that let humans create this huge spectrum of dogs from just one single ancestor. Wild, right? So this whole journey, from wild animal to our best friend snoozing by the fire, it kicked off around 15,000 years ago. Early on, humans started picking out wolves with traits they liked. Maybe they were better hunters or just a bit tamer. But here's the really crazy part. That massive explosion of different breeds, the one that gave us most of the dogs we know and love today, that happened super recently, mostly in the 19th century. It's a much shorter history than you'd think. So think of it like this. Humans took that basic wolf blueprint, and then, through selective breeding, they just went to town. They created this absolutely dazzling variety of shapes, sizes, and coats, all custom-built for different jobs. Just look at the extremes. On one end of the spectrum, you've got the towering Irish wolfhound, a dog literally bred to hunt wolves. And on the complete opposite end, you have the dachshund, built low to the ground so it could chase badgers right down into their burrows. It's the same ancestor, but look at those dramatically different results, all because of what we needed them to do. And it's not just about size, not by a long shot. We're talking about everything. Head shapes, for example. Some are long and narrow for speed, others are short and broad. We even messed with their ears. They went from that classic upright wolf ear to these long, droopy ones that are perfect for trapping scents. And coats? Oh man. You can find everything from totally hairless dogs to breeds with thick, corded coats that look like dreadlocks. And you have to understand, these changes aren't just for looks. Not at all. Take a hound's nose, for example. It can have up to 300 million scent receptors. 300 million! For comparison, we humans have about 5 million. It's the perfect example of how the job a dog was meant to do literally shaped its body. All right, so we've got it. There's a ton of different dogs out there, but here's the big secret to finding the perfect one for you. It's not about looking at the dog first. Nope. It's all about taking a good, hard look at yourself. First up, what's your home life like? Yeah, a giant dog in a tiny apartment is a pretty obvious no-go. But here's something to think about. A small, super high-energy dog, like a Jack Russell, can feel just as cramped and frustrated in a small space as a Great Dane if you're not meeting its exercise needs. So, do you have a yard? Are you in the city or out in the country? Be honest.
And this next one is huge. You have to be really honest with yourself. How much exercise can you really provide every single day? It's so easy to imagine yourself going on 2-hour hikes every morning. But can you really, truly commit to that, rain or shine, tired or not, for the next 10 to 15 years? Because that dog's physical and mental health is going to depend entirely on you keeping that promise.
Okay, let's talk grooming. We've all seen those stunning dogs with the beautiful, flowing coats. They're gorgeous, right? But that coat might need daily brushing just to stop it from turning into a tangled mess. And that's before you even think about the expensive trips to a professional groomer. So the question is, are you really up for that kind of high-maintenance relationship? And last but not least, who's in your family? Really think about your household. Got little kids who could get easily knocked over by a big, bouncy dog? What about other pets? A cat, for instance, could really trigger the high prey drive that's baked into some of these breeds. At the end of the day, the dog has to fit in with the family you already have. Okay, so now that you've done a little soul searching, let's get practical. Let's look at a tool that can help you take those 400-plus breeds and narrow them down to a much more manageable list.
It's actually a really simple step-by-step process. You just start with what's probably the most important factor, that exercise level we talked about. From there, you just follow the path based on your answers about grooming and how much training you're willing to do. It's a fantastic way to weed out the breeds that just aren't going to be a good fit right from the get-go.
Let's run through a quick example, just so you can see how it works. Okay, let's say you're a really active person. You want a dog that needs a lot of exercise. But you're not super into the idea of spending hours grooming, and you'd really prefer a dog that's pretty easy to train. You follow that path on the flowchart, and boom, it leads you to this fantastic list of potential matches. Pretty cool, right?
All right, so once you've got that short list of breeds that might be a good fit, you've got one last really big decision to make. Where do you actually get your dog from? And there are really two main paths you can go down, and each one has some pretty important things to think about.
So, you've basically got two main options: going to a reputable breeder or adopting from a rescue organization. Let's break it down. With a great breeder, you're getting a puppy. You know its history, its pedigree, you can often meet the parents, which gives you a good clue about future temperament and health. On the flip side, when you adopt from a rescue, you're often getting a more mature dog, maybe a mix, but you are giving a deserving animal an absolutely incredible second chance at a happy life. Both are fantastic ways to find a dog, but they're very different experiences, and you need to be prepared for that.
And this is a really important point if you're thinking about rescuing. A lot of dogs in shelters come with a bit of baggage. They might have unknown or even traumatic pasts. Now, giving them a loving home is one of the best things you can do, but you have to be ready. It can take a whole lot of extra patience and sometimes some real experience to help them feel safe and overcome their fears.
Now, if you do decide to go the breeder route, it is absolutely crucial that you do your homework. You really want to avoid irresponsible breeders or puppy farms. A good, reputable breeder will be happy to answer all your questions. They'll welcome them. They'll be totally open about health screenings. They'll insist you see the puppies with their mom. And honestly, they will care just as much about you as you do about them because they want their puppies to go to the best possible homes.
So, when it really comes down to it, choosing a dog is about so much more than just picking out the cutest puppy in the litter. It's a huge commitment. We're talking 10, 15, sometimes more years. By being really honest with yourself about your own life and by doing the research, you're not just picking a pet. You're choosing a new family member, a companion for a huge chunk of your life. So the real question to leave you with is this: are you ready? Not just for the puppy you want today, but for the amazing, loyal, loving dog they're going to become.